know in this space, like people really do say that all the time, like about men being simps. Um, do we really believe like most men are simps?
We, for us on this panel, and I'm sure a majority of men, we know that goes without saying. We absolutely understand that relationships are transactional. What I really want to talk about or address is why it rubbed her wrong to admit that. And so, and what it really is that women have a hard time, like they know that relationships are transactional, right? But they have a hard time admitting it because a lot of women don't want to come off as 304s. Even when they, even with the words that they say, hey, in order for you to deal with me, you got to provide XYZ. And they know in their minds that it's transactional. It rubs them the wrong way to even call it that. And that's the tripped out part of me. That's what I wanted to address. We all know that relationships are transactional, but I just thought it was funny and telling that it rubbed her the wrong way. Even though I'm sure she's made posts, I'm sure she's talked to men, and it's always been transactional. She just doesn't like to call it that because she realized that it may, in retrospect, make her look like a 304. But the reality is, you're not a 304 because you demand something for your time or your body or what have you. It's normal. It's perfectly normal. So why don't we just call it what it is, a transaction?
All right, go ahead, sir. Here.
Really no perspective. So yes, relationships are transaction. They should be. Most men set up for just depositing, and I think most women kind of accept that. So they take the gifts, the sex, the protection, the emotional availability, the friendship. But most women don't really. It's not really. It's supposed to be a transaction, but for most women, they don't do their side of the transacting. And I think that men have to see that. And once you see you're depositing, you're giving, you're there, she needs you to put up a TV. She needs you to be there. She needs your advice. She's calling you about her boyfriends when she knows you're interested in her. You got to cut that off. You got to stop depositing in women who are going to take the deposits you make to go create a transaction with somebody else she's going to complain to you about later. So relationships should be transactions, but men have to make it so. And if a woman is not equally, giving back to you, you got to stop depositing into her because she's selfish, and you're going to find yourself resentful, and you're going to find yourself wasting time on somebody you're never going to get a return off of. So to answer the question, yes.
Okay. All right, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, sweetie.
I was just going to ask her here, how do you stop a man from depositing into a woman when that's his act of choice? I think a lot of men are completely okay with it.
You asked me a question. You just wanted to, just like black folks.
It was rhetorical. It was rhetorical. But yeah, it was more. This is more of a response to what you said. That it's crazy that we sit there and tell these men, like, "Hey, look, you need to stop depositing into these women." Basically, the simps, right? We're talking to them for real. But a lot of these dudes like to be the simps because that's all they can get out of that woman anyway.
No, most men don't want to be simps.
A lot of them dudes like to be simps, bro. They like what they getting out of these women, which is a little bit of attention.
No simps. No man is a simp by choice. None. If he's doing that, that means he has a completely low self-estimation of himself. But no man wants to be a simp, right? So I think that part isn't true, right?
I didn't say that he wanted to be. I said he enjoys what he gets out of it.
But the other part for this is a lot of men do that because if you were raised with and I don't want to get into this too badly, but it's the way young boys are cultured, right? So if the young boy is with primarily women, his mother, or he has to be the good boy. He has to be the one to open up the doors and spend money and protect, and he has to be the man husband. As a child, he's cultured to give. He's a workhorse, and he hasn't seen anything different. So a lot of men fall into that behavior because that's all they've seen. And to Sweeney's point, I'll give you this, is that he gets some validation. He feels like something the more he's depositing. Oh, he's such a good man. He's such a good guy. He's so nice. But that good guy, that nice, that kind leaves him alone, broke, and horny, right? So I think it takes some man helping him to break out of that cycle because it's a very lonely and it's a very it's a very deeply lonely place to be in when you're always the one doing it. You really don't get anything in return.
You don't think that hope a lot of the times for these dudes keep them doing what they're doing? Because let me ask you that question first, and then you don't think hope keeps them going?
I think lack of exposure does. If you give, so JR, I got to tell a story, and I'm gonna probably get doxxed after I say this. So I was 16 years old, and y'all know when school got out, you boot up with somebody for the summer. Well, it just so happened I had nobody, and I was desperate. I was desperate. And there was this girl on Hickory Street. This girl, terrible. I mean, looked like a straight. She was terrible. What? Like you ever have somebody you dated that you don't want nobody to find out. You kind of don't want to tell Jesus. You don't want anybody to know about this. Well, that happened, right? And I was devastated when this girl, she was, and I don't mean to talk, and I really don't mean to down anybody, but Chicago Gorilla, if you saw this, you wouldn't respect me, bro. Like you will block me on all social media sites if you saw this. But I was desperate, right? So what happened was, she ended up talking to somebody else, and I'm sitting there like I'm crying over somebody. She terrible. Guess what got me over that?
You can't expect me to take you seriously.
I went over. I went over to Indiana. I found somebody else. Issue resolved. You see what I'm saying? Like I just crossed Lincoln Highway, Indiana. I'm there, and I think that's what happens. Most men get so down because they limit themselves to that. Go across the train tracks.
Went to Munster,
Come on,
Indiana,
man.
found him a white woman.
It's the Red Lobster over there, brother. You know what I'm saying? I crossed over. Issue resolved.
I'm about to say, there's a lot of people crossing over in the Hammond.
Bro, listen, Sir Hell, you wildin', G. I'm literally probably like 10 minutes away from Indiana right now.
I went to school in Hammond, Indiana.
We used to go get gas. Gas used to be 10 cents less than Illinois.
Yeah. No.
Get that gas.
Gas is probably in Indiana. I go to Indiana. It's probably about 30 to 40 cents cheaper for me to go get it in Indiana. Yeah. It's like $4.29 in the city, $4.50 or something. If I go to Indiana right now, it's like $3.89. Yeah. Where was the woman from? Hey, let me ask you this, Sweeney, real talk. Because I know in this space, like people really do say that all the time, like about men being simps. Do we really believe like most men are simps?
No, I think most men, well,
yes. Culture, yes. Absolutely.
But I don't think it's as problematic to most men as we may think it is. I think a lot of men don't care about being in that category. A lot of men are happy simping for the women that they simp for.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we make it, on this sin, we like, damn, man, we got to stop these niggas from simping and shit like that because it does create a problem with the women in some way, shape, or form. But for the motherfuckers that's doing the simping, a lot of them are completely cool with it because they get what they get out of it. They